Married to the Games is now on Stitcher Radio. Listen to us on your iPhone, on your Android phone, your Kindle Fire, all your smart devices. Get the Stitcher app in your app store or at Stitcher.com. And when you download, register with Facebook so you can share your comments about the show. We want to hear from you. Come on, y'all. Stitcher Radio on demand. Let's go. Oh, yes, y'all. Married to the Games. 003. We have made it. We are keeping it going. And we are moving onwards and upwards as always. Gabe Patillo joined by Tim Router and Timothy Hall. How you guys doing?
I'm going to take a nap.
I'm doing all right. Whatever.
We got our therapy session on. I'm just going to sit back on the couch and take a nap.
It's been a long day for you.
It's been a long week, long day, long week, but it's all good. I'm so excited that we're back on numero tres.
I got some R&R this weekend, so I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go. So you actually got a weekend to talk about this time.
Yeah, something like that. We'll see.
So what did you do besides R&R?
Well, I played some Borderlands and I dreamt, I guess. But no, dreamt about Borderlands. No, I was playing. I mean, Borderlands 2. It's still fun. I do have a few things to mention about it. If you pre-ordered the game, you got this thing called like an exclusive Vault Hunter key or something.
Okay.
And in that game, you know, you're collecting guns. You're constantly opening chests. So whenever you see a chest, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to open it. So by pre-ordering, you get one key, and they don't really tell you which chest it is that it's going to open. You can only use that one key one time. And it gives you, like, some really cool guns for your level, but after you use the key, that's it. Well, there's this, like, city that when you are in it, you can run up to this chest and open it, and it doesn't tell you fast enough that this is the key. Like, this is your one and only key that you're going to be using.
Oh.
So yeah, I ran up and I opened it because it was just impulse. You know, I was like, oh, well, there's the chest. I'm going to go open it. And it had some pretty sweet guns in it. But then after I opened it, I realized, oh, crap, this was the thing they were talking about.
You maybe should have held on to that for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
Longer.
I was like, man, I wish I could have held on to it till I was like a higher level. But I was like, well, I really wish they would have like at least like popped up and said like, all right, this is it. You know, this is your one key. Are you sure you want to use this? You know, it's like if you just,
it'd have been like a Windows notification.
Exactly,
you sure you want to install
like
this
a
program?
pop-up window, like
because we don't. Okay, you sure you want to uninstall this program? That's how
yet,
Windows works.
Okay.
I've heard you're not the only one though. I've heard from a lot of people that they either like completely just grab the key and don't even think about it because it's an impulse. And a lot of people are apparently having that same issue where they're like, oh, that was it.
Yeah, and it really upsets me because I was like, I knew I had that key, and I was like, well, I guess whatever happens. Like, I'll find the chest, and I'll kind of decide what to do from there. But, you know, it's like, it really is disappointing that they didn't have that more clearly marked.
That's what makes it a game.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, because in the real world, you get no pop-ups.
Exactly. I've never walked to a door and somebody been like, hold on a second. You sure? Be like, yeah, I'm sure. Let's do this thing. Come on, open this door up.
Tim, what character are you playing? I meant to ask you.
I'm playing the Commando.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the all-around guy. Like, he's more of the generalist, I guess. I thought about playing the Siren because I was like I kind of like playing the mage sometimes, but I don't know. Just from everything I've heard, the Commando's the way to go. And to be honest, the Soldier was the way to go in the last one. So,
is it the same kind of situation as the first one?
Pretty much. I mean, they've got the Soldier, the Mage, the like the Marksman, and then the guy who's just basically the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Berserker, right? Is that what his name is?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they've got another class coming soon called like Necromancer, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's looks pretty interesting, but
that's pretty fantasy.
Yeah, and the thing is I think by the time they get it out, I don't know if people are going to have moved on with the game, but they're probably going to be, not wanting to start a whole new character by that time, I think.
So is it not that kind of game? I was wondering about, because since I'm making my way through the first one, I was wondering, is it that kind of game that you want to play over and over again, or is it not really the kind of game where you're like, oh, I beat it as the siren, so now I'm gonna go back and beat it as this big old tank guy?
I mean, people go either way with it. Like for me, it's I'm gonna play it once and that's it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna beat it once and then
Beat it once and sell it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna hold on to it. The only thing is with the first one, once you got through the game, enemies scaled with you on your second playthrough.
Oh,
so
okay.
if they do that with this game too, then yeah, I'll probably go back and do like the side quests that I didn't want to do. Because that's the thing is, once you're moving through that game and getting a good momentum, you have such a higher level than the side quests that you have options to do.
Right.
So for instance, like I'm a level 18 right now, and I have a bunch of side quests in my log that are like level 11, level 12, and it's like if I go through those, I don't get any experience, and the guns that they give me aren't going to be beneficial to me.
Right.
So it's
Because
like
you've already passed that level.
yeah,
so
exactly.
what's the point?
So there's no point really in going back and doing those unless the enemies scale with you.
I got you. So rest and relaxation in Borderlands 2. That sounds like a good weekend.
Oh yeah, I encountered something pretty funny in it too. I meant to ask you guys about. Did either of you guys play the X-Men arcade game when you were young?
I
Yes.
definitely did.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a part in the first level that you get. I think it's the first level that you get to where like Magneto's like blocking you from moving, and he kind of explodes this cliff that you're standing on.
Mm-hmm.
And since it was a Japanese game brought over here, it's kind of lost in translation. He says, "X-Men, welcome to die." It's just hysterical. He's like, what? So there's these characters in the game that are kind of like, they're just kind of like big stupid guys.
That was the same thing as
And,
the beginning of what was it? Altered Beast. But it was like,
Oh, yeah.
rise from your grave.
Wise from your grave.
Oh, and he had a speech impediment too. That's even better.
No, but yeah, there's these like big guys in Borderlands 2 called what are they? The Goliaths,
Mhm.
and they run up at you, and they just sound like these big dumb guys who are like, "Welcome to die."
So they obviously did a throwback. Why would they obviously do that throwback, you think?
Oh, they do throwbacks to a bunch of different things. There's references to like Mario Brothers and stuff like that. So
No way. That's awesome though.
yeah, I mean it's well
That's
actually
clever.
there's a reference that I don't want to spoil because it's really good. But if you were born in the '80s, you'll love it. It's like you go down into a sewer. Well, shoot, I guess I'll have to spoil it now.
If you're going down into a sewer, it's got to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I was
You're
gonna
halfway there, bro.
Shoot, there you go.
It's got to be
just,
Teenage
it's funny
Mutant Ninja
'cause
Turtles.
It's the quest is called something about Splinter, and you're going down into
nice.
you're going down in the sewer, and they all have like names that are similar to the characters. So it's like one of them's named like Leo, one of them's named Mick, I think.
That's
One of
great.
them's named like Ralph, so like Raphael.
That
it's hilarious.
Is great.
That's really clever. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
a
I mean
lot.
they do a lot of those clever references in there that they're hilarious.
Man, speaking of those old school games where you could you and your buddies just pile around, because those were like 4-player games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And X-Men was what, 8 players on one of them, or 6?
No, it was 6 players.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And me and my boys, we were doing a show up in Portland, and there's an arcade there called Ground Control, which is awesome. And it's
Sweet.
like, it's awesome. And,
Is it a throwback arcade?
yeah, everything's 25 cents. Nothing's 50 cents.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
come on.
And like they had a DJ, just dubstep the whole time. It's
awesome.
dark in there. They're serving drinks and chips. It's funny because they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have drinks and food," and we were like, "Cool." So we go back after the show because they were open till like 1 a.m, and we were like, "Yo, we about to go get down at Ground Control." Food was really loosely. That's not what they meant. They meant we have drinks and we have chips. I was expecting to get like a hoagie or something like that, and it was not happening. I was like, "Come on, man, that is a false advertisement."
Wow. No burger, no hot dog, no nothing.
No, nothing like that, man. They was like, we got some Doritos and we got some Cool Ranch Doritos. I was like, that's the same thing, different flavor. But me and my boys sat there and beat The Simpsons. And,
yes.
And I was like, I'm doing this for my childhood because I never had enough money when I was younger to do this. And, you know, so we each spent probably $5.50 on that game, but it was awesome.
That game beats you up, man.
It gets hard.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they wanted to just eat all of your quarters, man. I swear.
Did that on purpose. Like, I remember, you know, your character flashes when he gets hit, and I was like, I wasn't even close to that guy. I don't even know what's going on here.
Exactly.
God.
So we're all going to Portland then, huh?
Dude,
yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to open one of those here in Nashville, man. Forget going to Portland. I love Portland.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
But that place is incredible.
That's the thing, though, is that if you open one of those things, you got to be playing like Michael Jackson, man, or something like that. You can't be playing like dubstep. You got to make it like real classic.
Oh, you could throw in a little Skrillex every once in a while. It wouldn't kill you.
Exactly. You gotta.
That'd kill me.
You gotta have a wide range audience. Because I mean, you could go during the day, Hall, so that you're not being offended by the bass of the dubstep.
Thank you.
The rest of us will go be there at midnight.
You can put your earplugs in, Hall, if you need to. It's all good.
We'll take your walker and just set you in front of an arcade machine.
Did any of you guys play Gauntlet too? Because that was like a 4-person.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I loved that game.
Never beat it, though.
Loved that game.
Never beat it. But...
No, I always got killed.
I always got ganged up on by the ghosts, man.
Router, what's got you all tired? How was your weekend?
Well, let's see. We had a garage sale Friday and Saturday. So that's, yes, sir. And that started at 7 a.m. And it is amazing who comes out of the woodworks at 7 a.m. in the morning. I mean, it's like Friday night especially, or Friday morning especially, they will drive up and down your neighborhood before they go to work just to scout out what you've got.
Well, you guys live in a nice neighborhood, too. I
was going to say, you were probably seeing a lot of the professionals.
Yeah. I bet. But, I mean, I didn't have as much to sell this year. Last year we had like some furniture and stuff, and it was really great, and it always feels so good to get rid of stuff.
Oh yes.
My attic was just so crowded, and I'm like, babe, we got to do something about this. And so we just hashed it all out, and yeah, so I was up at 7 a.m. every morning, which is fine. I'm usually up at earlier than that, but it just gets long after a while, but it was fun.
Did Lauren try to sneak the PS3 out there?
Oh, heck no. I've got that under lock and key. I have a wizard blocking it. Sorry, a mage. I'm sorry. That's the PC terminology now. A mage.
There you go, man.
Wizards are so 1990s.
Wizards are so Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it was a garage sale. I had to do a little more taxes because today I went to my accountant, had like a 2.5-hour meeting with him today, because I got to turn in my taxes before October 15th if you filed an extension. So anybody else who hasn't filed their taxes yet, you have until October 15th.
Yeah, Uncle Sam will come get you, too.
That's right.
He don't play.
And then I am leaving. I'm taking the wife and baby and dog and hopping in the car, and we're driving up to New Jersey tomorrow.
Jersey.
I'm sorry. We are going to Brooklyn first and then Jersey.
Nice.
So, yeah, we got our good friends, Lauren's one of Lauren's best friends, Dabney, is opening up a retail store right around the corner from her. She lives in Brooklyn in a place called Dumbo, which is basically you get off the first exit of the Brooklyn Bridge, and you're right there. And Dumbo is down under Manhattan Bridge overpass. That's what.
That's where he's been hiding all this time.
That's right.
Him and his feather.
And so she's opening up a retail store. She is also in the stationery and gifts industry, and Lauren and Dabney have been really good friends for a long time. And in fact, we are godparents to one of their 3 children. They had triplets 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, they had all them jokers at once, got them out the way.
All at once. And we were, yeah, that's true. And we were up there. Lauren was supposed to throw Dabney a baby shower in January. And that's when she gave birth to them. So they were actually 3 or 4 months premature.
That's right. But they're all doing good now, right?
Yeah, they're amazing. And man, I'll never forget the first time I saw them. They looked like they were 1 pound 2 ounces. One was like 1 pound 4 or something like that. They look like little wrinkled potatoes.
Oh, gracious.
And it was, they were in the NICU for about 3 months. So big shout to Dabney and Peter Woglam. They're awesome. And their kids, Elsie, Bennett, and Poppy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be gone for the rest of this week, but I'll still be working and doing all that fun stuff. So Brooklyn bound, here we come.
Yeah.
And then we pop on over to Jersey to see Lauren's parents who live there right across the bridge from New York City. And then we'll drive back. So we got about a 14.5-hour drive tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that's way too long.
You mean you got about a 14.5-hour drive?
Exactly. So I'll be podcasting it up the whole time.
I know that's right.
Got them all loaded.
Funny story about Tim and Lauren's dog. When we first met Tim and Lauren, I don't know why, but we met Tim and Lauren and their dog Maggie. And for some reason, I don't know if it was just like, oh, yeah, you're talking, and you're not really paying attention, and you're talking, oh, nice store, and blah, 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 blah. And we left, and I was like, babe, what was that lady's name again? I was like, it was Tim, and what was it? And for probably a month before we got to know them any better, we thought Lauren's name was Maggie.
I forgot about that, man. That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, man, Tim and Maggie. We kept telling people, yeah, we keep running into these people, Tim and Maggie.
That's
not
hilarious.
even close.
Dude, I totally forgot about that. That's awesome.
The dog's name.
Yep.
You probably called Tim and you were like, hey, are you taking Maggie out? And he was like, yeah, but only for a minute.
I was like, gosh, you are not romantic at all. Be like, is y'all's water not working? Why she got to go to the bathroom outside? He's like, hey,
that's so awesome.
That's how we do things around here. Man, I don't even remember where we were. Oh, Carowinds theme park in Charlotte, North Carolina is where we were.
No kidding.
Yeah, did a show up there. It was great, sold out. It was awesome.
That's cool. Did you have good weather or did you get rained on?
It did rain a little bit, but it was like one of those outdoor sheds, pavilion type things. So the roof actually went really far back. So
oh, that's cool.
Nothing got wet, but it cooled it down, made it a nice temperature.
Nice.
So we got to it. It was fun.
Are you doing weekend shows now, or is it like from like Thursday on?
Yeah, it's like we leave this Wednesday for Dallas, so we're going to Texas, doing a couple shows down there, and then head back, and then we hit the West Coast a little bit. I think we jump out to Fresno or something like that. So
wow. All right. So what games you got lined up?
Man, I downloaded a bunch of demos like the Scott Pilgrim thing and the X-Men Origins, I think it is what it was called on PSN that hit the other day. And I'm trying to think what I'm going to take. I just bought BioShock 1 and 2 because I never played those. And I bought Mass Effect 2 and 3 because as Router, you might not know this, but Mass Effect 1 didn't come out on PlayStation. It came out on Xbox. Is it coming?
Yeah. Aren't they doing like a whole collector series?
Yeah, I thought you were going to be leading into this. They're releasing the trilogy on PlayStation 3 sometime in, I think, November or something.
So what's that mean? I shouldn't play 2?
I played 2 without playing 1, and to be honest,
well, that was your only option for a while. Well, you have an Xbox, so you didn't play it on there, huh?
Well, no. I mean, with 2, they gave you like a kind of a comic that kind of cleared everything up, like an interactive comic, I guess. I say that lightly because I did talk to people who played 1. They're like, "Oh, you missed this and this and this and this," and I'm like, "Well, to be honest, it's an old game. I don't know if I feel like going back and playing it necessarily, but." They probably, I imagine that they went back and fixed all the things for the PlayStation 3 version because it did never come out.
So knowing me and knowing how I like to go start at the beginning.
Yeah, play 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I really don't want to. I was really excited about being able to start at 2.
I mean, that's what everybody told me, and I started at 2, and like I said, I know I missed things, but yeah.
Is it,
Gabe, you got time, man. You're going to be driving to Dallas and then Fresno. You got all the time in the world.
When's it? You said it's coming out in November?
I think they'll be releasing 1 as a digital download for like $15. So if you really want to wait until then, just do that.
See, the other 2 are in the mail already. That's the thing.
I didn't like fully read about it. I don't know how the heck they got one on PlayStation 3 because it was published by Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe Bill Gates is getting a little soft on us.
It might be.
I mean, it would be nice to see companies start to collaborate a little bit because, I mean, realistically, it's better for everybody.
I know. In the words of a great man, can't we all just get along?
That's right.
I remember when they first were talking about, making Call of Duty playable online with PlayStation and Xbox. Like those two could play each other.
Oh.
And I got really excited about that, but then they never did it.
I don't think their servers can really communicate.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a dedicated server.
It would definitely be a
from
logistic
Activision.
nightmare.
Well, yeah, because Microsoft is running Windows servers. So there you go.
And they probably don't even feel like they need to do it because there's enough players on both consoles. It's like they'll never not have anybody to play.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So
for sure.
Gabe, did you get your games from Amazon again?
Nah, baby, I got mine on. Actually, I got them on both. I got BioShock 1 on Amazon, and I got BioShock 2 and Mass Effect 2 and 3 on eBay.
You are like the eBay king, man.
Well, I kind of bounce back and forth. I'm like wherever I could find the best price, and I had a gift certificate for $25 on Amazon, so I was like,
done.
Ooh. So I was looking for that. I was looking because I never bought Final Fantasy 13-2. I just played it a bunch from Redbox. So I was looking for that. I was looking for Sleeping Dogs. I was looking for Arkham City. So it was kind of whatever fell in there. But I only have like $14 left, so I'll add to it and get one of those. Because
I got Arkham City for you if you want it.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I'd just borrow it from you.
Yeah, hello.
You might want to leave it in your mailbox so I could pick it up tomorrow.
I gotta let you borrow Resistance 3. I forgot about that.
Yes. Yes, please.
Timothy Hall.
Yes.
You got some things we need to talk about.
I was gonna actually, Gabe. Before we go on, I was gonna ask you, what did you think of Sleeping Dogs? I don't think we ever got a chance to talk about it.
We talked about it a little bit. I really like it. It's rough. I mean, there's a lot of language in that game, and it's funny because I'm not that conservative, but for some reason when curse words are just thrown in there to make it sound
street.
Yeah, it's like I understand that, and I've talked to people that use the F word every other word, but it just seemed a little forced to me. But I mean, I thought the fighting mechanics were awesome. The countering mechanics when it comes to when you come into fisticuffs, just flesh on flesh is really cool. I love the gunplay on it. It's got a little bit of that slow down Max Payne situation where you can kind of dive over something and everything slows down. You can blow up, propane tanks and stuff like that, which we talked about randomly sitting around. So I mean, all that stuff was, I like all that. The car doesn't feel crazy, so it's so cool to see these games like Sleeping Dogs be able to take on a bunch of stuff. Do you remember when when Driver first came out, it was just a driving game. And then as they came out with more drivers, then they were like, and now you can get out of the car. But then everything outside of the car felt weird and wonky. And you're like, oh man, they only focus on the driving. Well, because it's called Driver. But with Sleeping Dogs, it's really cool because I felt like all the mechanics work really well. And it's not like they're outstanding. Like, there's plenty of people that, probably play Need for Speeds and stuff like that are like, this game sucks in the car. But like, for it to have an overall thing like that, I think it's cool. And you get to do boats and all kind of different vehicles. So.
There's a ton of side missions too, right? Like
man.
It's really open world. You can do whatever you want.
All day you could be doing stuff. And I'm kind of that guy a little bit and kind of not, because I like the story to progress, but I also want to be like strong enough to where I'm not losing all the time. Because, if you rush through some of those games, it's like, man, I could really use a rocket launcher right now, but you haven't like unlocked that or whatever. You
have a knife.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, how am I going to take this helicopter down with this knife? I'm gonna have to throw it real hard. So, but I really like it. I haven't beaten it yet, but I think the story's cool. It's intriguing. It's a cop undercover. You're trying to whatever with the triads, which seems like that's every bad guy in Asia. Yeah. Is like, oh, the triads. You're like, is that word made up or is that, But
it's set in South Korea, right? Or is it China? Or,
I want to say
Hong
it's
Kong?
China. I want to say because the subtitles offer Cantonese. So I want to.
So cool. So you can learn a little Cantonese while you're kicking the crap out of people.
You can start cussing people out in Chinese, and
Nice.
and nobody will know.
Love it.
But it's really cool too. The voice acting is really good. They go in and out of Cantonese, which is really cool. Like, and then in the subtitles, you know, it'll have the English, and then in parentheses, it'll put the English translation for what they just said. And
that's really
Nice.
cool.
and so it's really cool, man. And we talked about too, Emma Stone and Lucy Liu are in it, and so. And I think there's some other people that people would know, but I didn't know the main characters and those guys. But when I saw Emma Stone and Lucy Liu, I was like, I know them. And so, and it's.
I heard
awesome,
that.
man.
I was gonna say I heard that the voice acting was like top notch. Like they didn't just get celebrities for that popularity. They got them like, and they actually did a good job.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they killed it. And it helps you just get engrossed. You know what I mean? When you can hear, you know, instead of, and of course your imagination is always great too when it comes to these longer games that are just text, but you know, it just takes it to a different level when the voice acting is everything. When everything you do, there's some voice acting to it. You know, whether you're going to a store where you can't really do anything and they just say, come again, you know, you're like, oh, okay. And it's really funny because when they're speaking in English, it's still with a really strong accent. And so,
cool. So they really kept it. They kept it real.
Yeah. It's really,
awesome.
It's really cool, and it's hilarious. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, you know, never buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh my god,
awesome.
You're like, that's incredible that they just left it like that and wanted it like that. But it makes it makes it so cool. So
it's sales wise, I think it's doing okay. I think it's not hitting.
Yeah, I don't think it's gangbusters. Yeah, but it's a good. I mean, it's a good game.
That's awesome. It definitely could lead into something else.
Oh, I hope it does. I don't know the ending yet, so I don't know if it leaves it up in the air or not. But
that's cool.
You know, but anything can kind of continue if you want it to. So, Hall, what did you have for us?
The first thing I wanted to talk about, it's kind of something that's been mentioned like here and there over the past few months, but people have been talking about the Vita getting a price drop.
Yes.
Really, I think that. I mean, I'm not alone in this, but I think that launching at $250 was a bad idea.
That's too expensive, man.
Yeah, and they've been talking about it, but they said it's definitely not happening this year, like the people at Sony. And, I mean, what do you think needs to happen for the Vita to gain traction besides a price drop? I mean, do you think that if it were $199, do you think it would be enticing, or do you think it needs something more?
You know what's funny is that last week we were talking about how the PlayStation should have been $199. That's what hurts the Vita. If you come out at $250 and you can get the whole system for, you know what I'm saying, $50 more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like if somebody was like, hey, you can buy this PS Vita that nobody's playing, or you can buy this PlayStation 3 that everybody's playing and is only $50 more, you're like, yeah, let me just get the PlayStation. But I don't think it offers anything. I mean, touch controls on the back, like...
That's the thing is I'm not interested in the touch controls at all.
No, that's what we have
honest.
iPads and stuff like that for. Like, give me the controller and let me use all these buttons. You know what I mean?
Well, besides the fact that once you start integrating touch controls, you lose you lose the feedback from the actual like having the controller. For instance, like having touch dual analog sticks. You know how games have that sometimes.
Yeah, I hate it.
There's no feedback on the stick, so I don't really know how much I'm turning, or you know what I mean.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't feel accurate.
Which, by the way, not to sidetrack from that, but just a quick rabbit trail. Gameloft is bringing out a dual analog controller for the iPad and iPhone, so you'll actually be able to control your games with a Bluetooth dual stick controller.
No way.
Yeah.
Now that would be kind of cool for
That's
like
cool.
I was gonna say for like those first-person shooters that are on there.
Exactly, because it's the worst having your thumbs all in the way. I mean, the iPhone screen, even though they tried to make it a little bigger, it's still too small to have two thumbs on there really working hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your thumb gets in the way of everything.
Exactly, and so you can't see, you're losing text, you know, there's all kind of things but I think it was really cool that I think it's called the Gamer Duo or Duo Gamer, and
that's really cool, man.
when I saw that, I was like, I'd get that, like, because I game a lot on my iPad, a lot,
What are you playing right now on here?
Oh gosh, I'm kind of stupid. Like I don't have anything serious on here. I mean, it's like there's a game called Room Break where you got to try to escape from things. Temple Run, of course, Plants vs Zombies, Civilization, Song
Nice.
Pop. I don't even know.
Civilization, I could see that being pretty sweet on the iPad.
Yeah.
Just because you can move everything around with you, like with touch controls.
Yeah. And there's and it's really cool zooming out and zooming in. There's Gameloft also brought out, I think it's kind of like a bite off StarCraft, but it's called Starfront.
Subtle, real subtle.
Yeah, thought they'd slip that one in there. That's really good with touch controls, but there's some of these things that just don't work as well, you know, like the karting games and stuff like that. Of course, the tower defense stuff and everything like that works fine with touch controls, but you know, when you're bringing out zombies and Call of Duty this and you know, Sonic Racing and different stuff like that, I think that the dual controller will be awesome for that. And that also, for me, lessens the chance of me getting a Vita.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say some of the things I think that the Vita could do to gain a little traction would be obviously more games, because as of what we've seen right now, like there's a couple of exclusives coming out for it, but if you've got a game coming out for two systems, it's like, you know, why wouldn't you get it on the home console?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
they're putting a lot of their money into the Assassin's Creed Wolfpack, right? Isn't that the exclusive for the Vita?
Yeah, it's the I think it's called Liberation.
Oh, Liberation, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean that game looks pretty sweet, and that could sell a lot of PlayStation Vitas. I mean, as well as the Call of Duty game. I mean, that's an obvious seller.
Yeah.
Maybe the Vita isn't really aimed at people like us who don't really have to travel or commute. Well, Gabe does, but not traveling or commuting as much. Because when I look at my handheld playing, like playing games, I think about when I was a kid and going between like I said, parents' houses, and like getting to take my handheld games because it was just an all-in-one thing that I could take with me. I think Vita should focus more on kids, honestly.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the 3DS does. I mean,
Right.
it's focused more on kids, and that's why it does better.
And that's what's crazy is it feels like the Vita isn't doing that great with barely any competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like Microsoft has got something out. I mean, of course Nintendo does, but it's not like Sega's got something out too, and blah blah blah's got somebody out. You know what I mean?
I think Microsoft looks at what Sony's doing with the Vita and says, we don't want none of this.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't fight. Personally, I don't think you can fight these iOS games and Droid. I mean, that's been what people are playing. I mean, those games are Angry Birds and stuff like that is making millions and millions and millions of dollars.
It has to be because it's a quick thing. Like people our age, if we're going to play a game on the go, most likely we're going to pull it out and we're going to play it for 10 or 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, we're not going to play a whole console experience on the go.
And my thing is too, $1? I get to play it for $1? And you want me to pay how much for this? You know, not only get the Vita, and then get the game. I'm like, oh, get out of here when I already have an iPhone. You know, I don't personally, but you know, I've got a Droid, and you know, pick up and do something on it real quick, and then put it away. I mean, gracious.
I think you're right, Tim. Though I think it's a demographic issue because people like us, we're probably, you know, we're not as on the go. Then again, I mean, we're not in like a metropolis like Chicago or New York or anything where we have an hour-long commute to work back and forth.
That's true.
If that was the case, then maybe it makes more sense. But Gabe, you hit it on the head, and I think that's the kicker: is why get a Vita when you can get a console for $50 more?
Yeah,
and get like a lot more memory and get all the bells and whistles that you need versus a Vita. And they're not going to cut the price now anyway because we're getting into fourth quarter. So it's big holiday time. So they're going to try and keep their profit margins as high as they can. And then maybe, you know, first or second quarter next year, they may drop the price.
Yeah. And let me ask you, Hall, because you might have been a guy, because you had a lot of systems. Did you ever buy something for 2 games or 1 game?
Not really.
I have to have the promise of a bunch of dope games coming out. Like, it's not great for me that they're bringing out Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. Like, those are 2 games these kids are going to already have. They're not going to be like, ooh, I get to play it on a small screen? That's dope. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah, the games are a little bit different, but aside from the mechanics, I can't imagine that the mechanics are going to be different. I imagine that the games are going to be the same. The thing that I think the Vita would shine in is that remote play feature. Have you guys heard about that?
I heard that about it a little bit.
Educate us.
They haven't patched it into all games. They were saying they were going to start patching it into specific games, but I thought that was kind of neat because you can kind of, I don't know, be in the other room, or your wife could be watching TV and you could be playing right there, playing games on your PlayStation 3.
Sounds like Nintendo to me.
Yeah, it's kind of what the Wii U is doing, where you can kind of take your games and just play them on the screen instead.
Right.
It's kind of a neat concept. But then again, the other night I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I think I'm just going to get another PlayStation 3 and put it in the bedroom. So.
Right.
Oh, Krista will love you for that.
That's the same price as the Vita, man. Honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Gosh, that's so weird. I wonder, I can't see myself like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just a small screen that I can't get over.
It has to be, because like I like really playing it on like a bigger screen with like, more bass to it, the subs and the
if I'm playing a game, I want to see it. I want to see it in all its glory. I want to see it in HD. I want to see it I want to see everything.
Are the games much cheaper?
No, not really. Not that much.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not that great of a value if you think about it.
I think mobile devices and mobile games is where it's at. I mean, look how many people have iPhones or, any Android devices, iPads, tablets. It's all going mobile, and that's great. But for the consoles and for the console companies, it's like, I think they're trying to keep up with it, but it just has such a huge market share that it's hard to do so.
Could you imagine?
That's what makes me. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, could you imagine carrying around an iPhone, a PS Vita, and like a laptop and an iPad? Like that's way too much stuff to have, and all the other stuff you can game on already. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I used to see kids just walking around with like Game Boys and DSs and stuff like that, and now you see them walking around with iPod Touches.
Right. Exactly. I was at a restaurant the other morning, me, the wife, and the baby. And we were sitting next to these kids, this whole family, and the two kids had iPads. Like kids, like 5 years old.
That's a little nuts.
Wow.
I felt like that too, but I was like, I mean, they're quiet. They're quiet. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad.
And they're watching in high definition, so why not?
Exactly.
I have a feeling that my little girl, little Miss Piper, is going to have an iPad, no problem.
I know, right? They're
well, it's a good learning tool.
It really is.
So.
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, she was on the floor the other night, and she was and Lauren put her iPad down there, and she was grabbing it and touching, and she was actually sliding. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the Vita, and I mean, more power to them. I just don't see it really working.
Price point. It's got to be the price point.
Even if it was cheap, I wouldn't buy it. I don't think.
If they would have brought that thing out at $149, you would have at least thought about it, though.
Yeah, that's probably true.
$149 is a great price point for the type of economy we're in. I mean, you can get the 3DS on sale for $149. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and if they put
really
price. Skype on there, and I think they have texting on there and stuff like that, like all those little things that are cheaper that they could throw into the OS, I think would really help out too.
But you know what? Even at $149, for me personally, just with my lifestyle, because I'm not somebody that has to travel much, I probably still wouldn't do it. I'd rather. The fourth quarter has got so many amazing games coming out. I'd rather take that $149 and put it into all the games that I want to buy for my PS3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of it just depends on your lifestyle and what you've got going on.
Yeah, and we've said this before. This fall has got a bunch of games coming out, and I found a cool little app for your iPhone or your Droid. It's called Game Minder. You guys heard of that? Game.Minder. And you can browse by game, you can browse by system, for sales, for genre, for developers, for publishers, for release dates, and it keeps all your stuff in order so you can know right when the games you're wanting to play are coming out. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. Is it free?
Yeah, it's free. I wouldn't be telling you about it if it cost money. Yeah. No, yeah.
You might have said it was free.
No, man, I downloaded that junk.
I'm downloading that now, man. Yeah, I'm going to download that now. That is awesome. That's great. There's so much coming out, and it's hard to keep track of. You know, other than the major heavy hitters, like I also want to know what are some of the up and coming, maybe smaller developers, what they're putting out that could be really cool, and that's a nice little app to have.
Exactly.
I'll take it. I'll
buy that for a nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Free 99, baby. Free 99. Hall, tell us a little bit about this digital program, the Day One digital program on the PSN.
Yeah, this PlayStation is doing this Day One digital for some of the newer releases that are coming out.
Yep.
And I thought it was pretty neat, but I kind of thought about too, what do you guys think about buying your games digitally Day One for the price that they launch at? I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Not really having value in the game. You know what I mean? It's digital.
I like digital. I mean, my whole thing is just storage on my console. Like, and once the console or the next gen that's coming out, I'm sure is going to have a ton more storage, and I'm hoping that's kind of the direction they go because I think they're pushing more digital anyway. I'm fine with it. It's so convenient anyway. Why not?
And we better
we
better get used to
ahead.
it too, because we're not going to be able to resell these next PlayStation and next Xbox games anyway. So they're probably trying to get us ready for that.
Yeah, that's like I guess that makes sense because like having that digital option, like it does more for developers, it does more for the companies involved because that's your download, nobody else's kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't sell that download, you can't trade it or whatever. I think it's good for developers and stuff. The only thing I take issue with is I prefer to have the tangible items.
Of course.
Just because I like having that value in my game.
Are you a CD guy too then?
Quality, man. I'm definitely a CD guy. It's a higher quality.
You got sensitive ears.
File.
Sensitive ears.
Exactly. I mean, I'm the one who notices. Not everybody else notices. But yeah, with games and stuff, like I like having them Day One physical just because, one, I get it cheaper. And two, it's like if I wanted to trade it in towards something else, I have that option. That's not necessarily better for the developers, but it's kind of better for us, I guess.
Oh, of course.
Owning the game. If you buy it and you play it and you don't plan on playing it anymore, you know.
So is the digital, it's the same price as
yeah, it launches at the same price. I did talk about this a while back and said, like, what if the digital titles were to launch at a small discount? You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't they, though? Because then you don't have to worry about artwork or packaging. It's just like iTunes.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
They should launch it like, you know, let's say next gen a game is $59.99. Maybe launch them at $49.99.
Yeah.
Because they want people to buy digital anyway, because then they don't lose any potential sales. You can't trade it in and you can't sell it.
And PlayStation Plus people are getting 10% off.
I mean, that's a good deal. That's a good deal, I guess. It saves you a couple bucks, and I don't think you have to pay tax on them.
I had a buddy that owned a video game store, and she was telling me they don't get the games cheap. You know what I'm saying? Especially those big new games that are coming out, you know, like, you know, the list of PSN Day One games are going to be Resident Evil, Dishonored, Doom 3, Medal of Honor, Warfighter, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Assassin's Creed 3. And so, like, these are big games, and she was like, you know, I'd love to give you a break on some of these games, but we don't get them for that cheap. You know, so it might be it might be good to, you know, PlayStation Plus people get a little 10% off. That's better than you're going to find anywhere else, I would think.
The only thing that gets me about the digital stuff, and because I know they want everybody to migrate to digital, is the like people who live out in the boonies with no internet.
Yeah, it's true.
Because there are still a lot of people that have consoles that have never been connected to the internet.
Right. Or with you know, slow connections.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they did talk about having discs with like an authentication system, so it's like you can buy the game and you got to put in a code, but that still requires you to be connected to the internet. My wife's grandparents, they have grandkids out there in I think it's La Follette, Tennessee. And they have no internet.
Really?
There's nothing.
Zero.
But they have Xboxes and they have games because they got a Walmart. So
there you go.
they just can't get online. So if they Yeah, the next gen is digitally authorized titles. Guess they're not going to be playing anymore.
Yeah, it's still going to be a both thing. They're going to still have it distributed both ways because of that fact, because it's not like broadband is not completely universal yet. So maybe in 10, 15 years it will be all digital because by then, all the technology and the Wi-Fi will be there. But it's I don't know. I think it's still like the music industry. They're still putting out CDs in jewel cases with artwork
Yep.
versus digital downloads. It's always going to be either. You can pick one.
And it's interesting.
That's
We've
good.
been talking about the number. The number, a couple years ago, even though it's so much easier to get it digitally, physical CDs used to really outweigh digital CDs. But now it's slowly getting taken over by digital sales. So
Oh, yeah.
since everybody's going in that direction, maybe it's a smart thing because, we've kind of gotten used to, I guess you could download an album and still burn it to a CD and give it to a friend. But, I think we've gotten so kind of out of practice of doing that, or maybe I'm just out of touch.
I think people like owning their content, and I think they like being given the option. But, back when the music industry started going downhill, people weren't given the option.
Right.
The RIAA was approached multiple times about going digital, and they kept saying, no, that's not the way to go, because they didn't want to sell singles.
Right.
And that kind of hurt them real bad.
Well, and they wanted to keep their brick and mortar stores happy too because they were all panicking too.
Yeah, well, of course we know the result. Apple came to the music industry and said, "We'll save you."
The angel that is Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And is now.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Today I was getting my game on because the baby was asleep and the wife was at Target. And I was thinking, I was like, what games, I wonder, of these, newer crop of games, do you guys like just go back and play, not old, but just like, even more like 2-year-old games? Like what's those ones that you go back and you're like, oh, I freaking love this game, I'm just going to play it for a little bit? Hall?
Uncharted series.
Really?
Easily.
Into the story?
Yeah, it's a good game, and when I play through them, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
I forgot how awesome that was just then.
And I will go back and play Resistance 3 multiple times. The level of challenge is so much fun in that game. They took out the whole, how in Call of Duty you get hit, and then it's kind of like, oh, I can go to cover, and I'll be fine again. My health will go all the way back up.
Right.
Well, with Resistance, it's like based on that old system where you got to pick up health packs, kind of like Doom.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It makes it so much fun. Such a fun game.
It's a challenge. Really nice challenge.
And the fact that you can carry all of your guns at once, like Doom, again.
See?
So what I'm
That's
trying to
cool.
say is that Resistance 3 is Doom.
Wink, wink, hint, hint.
As long as they don't follow in the footsteps of making a movie, I'm fine with them being Doom.
There you go.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
Router, you got one?
Yeah, I'm with Hall on this Uncharted because that's where I started.
Right.
And I love those games. And I just went back and did Assassin's Creed Brotherhood 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about. I love the stealth part of it. The story is the story, and I could live without the Animus and Desmond and all that stuff. But I did love just the landscape of being in Italy, and it was just really cool. I went back and played that one, and I would do the Uncharted ones again, hands down.
Man, I don't know if I can jump in and out of a story like that. Like I either need to do it and play through the whole game, or I don't know if I can tease myself like that.
I've been doing that with LA Noire just because the story's kind of moving slow for me. So.
Yeah, I would do that one again though, because there are some cases that I missed some things, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool to see the outcome,
how that was supposed to play out.
That's a great game. I love that game too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You know what game it is for me, which we haven't talked about this much, because I don't think any of us have talked about loving sports games, but the Fight Night series, the boxing game.
Oh yeah,
I think is incredible. Number one, it looks ridiculous. But Fight Night Champion, which I think came out last year, 2011. Man, I can jump back in and play that, like, get a couple rounds in and beat up on somebody. I just think the mechanics of that game are so good. Some people don't like it because of how the controller's all on the analog stick. But I think that game is incredible. And Champion actually has a story. And so you can play through a story where you're playing this guy named Andre or something like that. And
That's really cool.
It's actually a really good game.
That was the only fight night that interested me, just because it actually kind of had a progression story.
Yeah, it's really good. You guys need to borrow it sometime. It's great.
Do you guys
That's cool.
play a lot of sports games? I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but
I play baseball. That's pretty much it.
That's the only way to make baseball exciting. Is to play it on
I'll admit it. It's not the greatest sport to watch, but they do some presentation stuff that makes it kind of neat, I guess.
Yeah.
That kind of segues into this next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Did you guys ever used to play NBA Live?
No, but I do play a lot of NBA Jam.
Yeah.
And
nice.
and I love that because I'm old school like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the old NBA Jam. I used to play like NBA Live like 98, 99, 2000.
Yep.
I heard that 2013 got canceled. I saw that in the news.
Really?
And I read up on it, and I was like, this is the third year in a row that EA has canceled a basketball game.
Why is that?
I don't know. They keep saying something about how they're just not feeling like it's on to par, but I think honestly it's because NBA 2K11 came out the gate and was awesome.
Right.
And they've been making an awesome game ever since.
And yeah, NBA 2K13 is coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Golly.
And I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I mean, they've got the Legends mode in there. You can play as the old teams and stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome.
Wow.
It's pretty much everything that like people who play basketball games had wanted in the games for so long.
Right. We've always played on the road. We always play the NCAA games, and those are really
I could
fun.
see those being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun. Those kids, those crazy kids.
Those crazy college boys.
Yeah, I'm an NBA Jam guy myself. I liked Madden for a while until it started stepping into. I felt like it went from football game to football simulator, and then that wasn't fun for me anymore.
That's why I don't play a whole lot of sports games, just because I can watch that. And it sounds stupid. Like
You can. That's true.
It's very true. I can watch it, so I don't necessarily need to play that. I like seeing, live sports. I watch a lot of college football, and I watch. I know FIFA 2013 or whatever. It's already reached 1 million in pre-sales or something.
That
like
thing went berserk.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's football in its purest European form. I mean, everybody's geeking out over
where
that
it
stuff.
actually makes sense. Foot
Right.
and ball.
I want to know how the PS2 version did.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I think that comes out today, or that comes out tomorrow, I think, too, doesn't it? Or did it come out last week?
Did they come out with one of those too? I know Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 came out, but they didn't bring out a FIFA, did they?
They had to.
Please, Lord, tell me they did not do that.
There's no way they didn't.
I'm looking it up right now just to make sure that they didn't, because I'm gonna go smack someone.
Yeah, it's like I don't necessarily need to play a lot of the sports games unless something just comes along that really excites me. I like watching the sports and seeing all the action.
Yeah, I don't think they had one come out.
Ah.
Thank you, PlayStation, or whoever made that call.
Are you saying Sony just wouldn't let them do it? Like, nope.
No, they need to. They should have done it with Pro Evolution Soccer, but they let that one slip through the cracks. I like seeing that on its own on the release list last week. It was like Pro Evolution Soccer with a bunch of dust on it.
Do they still sell PlayStation consoles, like PlayStation 2, in store?
I mean, wouldn't that be a bad idea?
They have to.
It's got to be in a pawn shop somewhere.
I mean, it's at GameStop.
I'm saying retail store.
I can't imagine Target has them.
It has to be.
No.
You think so, huh?
I think so.
Like
I
where?
don't know about that. Because they're always pushing latest gen, and
It's there, trust me.
you think Walmart carries it?
Well, I know Walmart carries it.
Well, there you go.
I'm saying like retailers that I can actually tolerate going to, I guess.
I don't know. That's a good one.
I'm not saying that I want to buy one, but
It sounds like you want to go get one. You're like, ooh, I need to go. I'm checking Target right now just to see. Because there's no way that they sell PlayStation 2 still. And if they do, it should be like $30.
If they do, you should owe me $30.
I mean, right?
If they can still get away with charging $100 for it, which I think was the last thing they were charging, I mean, why not?
I can't. Let me see. Okay, I see a bunch of games. They have a bunch of PlayStation games. But I couldn't imagine that they're selling the system. Okay, no, they're not selling the system online. I mean, maybe Wally World or something like that's got one. But there's no way that they're selling. That'd be a shame. That'd be a shame. Anything you want? Anything on the wrap up before we get up out of here?
I am good.
You're good, Router. You good?
I'm straight, man.
Man, well, let's get up out of here, man.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah, I'm the one doing this in a closet.
Yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, Gabe Patillo, for Tim Router, for Timothy Hall, we're Married to the Games, you guys. We appreciate you guys listening. Check us out on iTunes. Please subscribe, review us, rate us. We don't care what you say. As long as you're listening, check us out on Stitcher. We're there too. So we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep on playing, baby. We're going to stay married to these games, and we out.